Welcome everybody to Life is Daijoubu, episode 78.
That was so bougie.
My name is Cole.
My name.
I don't know why I went weird accent. My name's Cole. I'm your host, and I'm joined by two lovely guests, Bart Simpson and Pennington.
Arrowhead.
I don't know what your shirt said. I couldn't read it from here.
I thought that Pennington.
Some lips.
There's a story that like this hat I got from my aunt. This is one of her like a company that she sells chemicals for.
Oh wow!
But this name is ironic. How long have I had this hat? Like a couple years.
It's been a while.
You've seen it, right?
Yeah,
I've seen it.
So, the girl that I may or may not have met at the concert.
Oh.
Is it Pennington?
That's her. Yeah, that's her last name.
Nice.
Okay. Your shirt
With
says
no relation?
Flow motion.
Not that I know of. This company's out of Utah.
Well,
Shirt says flow motion. So it says.
Flow motion.
Talk
Birdie to me.
Oh, it's a golf shirt.
Talk birdie to me. I hate my life. We got anime to talk about, guys. Let's dive right on into it. First off, I must get this out of the way because it's relevant to the conversation. I think it's funny. The reason why I was so late today, because my parents and me had a bright idea to watch The Prince of Egypt today.
That show actually slaps.
It's phenomenal, dude. It is so good.
My favorite part as a kid was the when they're doing the horse carriage stuff. I don't
Yeah.
know why, but I loved that as a kid.
So, I knew going into I've already seen it before, but I knew going into it that the animation is phenomenal. And I even quoted it to my dad. I'm like, yeah, it's probably the best animation the West has ever created. One of the best, if not the best, that the West ever created. And he didn't recall ever watching the movie, so we watched it. And man, the part where Moses splits the Red Sea is fan-freaking-tastic. It is so stunning. They're walking through the part with the walls of water, and lightning strikes in the background and illuminates the water, and you see this whale going through the wall. I'm just like, this is 1992, gamers.
I don't think it's that old. I think it's 899.
Oh, excuse me, 98. I apologize.
98, yeah.
I don't know why I said 92. 1998, gamers.
Although Lion King was like 93, right?
Yeah, Lion King's old.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, I have to watch a slideshow of an adaptation of one of my favorite comics.
I mean, you know what they say. No, there's nothing to say. I don't know what they say. Oops.
It's kind of a shame that studios like DreamWorks and Disney, I know it's cheaper to do 3D since you got the models, you plop them in, make them move. Half the work, but I do kind of miss those 2D animations when it's like they'd have a beautiful shot of a princess with cleavage out.
I don't remember this in my Disney movies.
There. You have to look. Sometimes they slip in a subliminal message.
I did find it interesting that there were some CG elements in The Prince of Egypt, but they do a good job of dressing it up. I think they probably went over the frames and drew over the top of some of the CG stuff to try to blend it better. That's my guess. I don't know if that's fact or not. Don't take my word on for it. But the CG looked good, and it was hard to pick everything out.
I've always said that The Prince of Egypt is probably the best religious animation and maybe the best religious storytelling of anything that I've ever seen anyway.
It's a banger of a film.
Yeah,
it's absolutely good.
Even if you're not even a Christian or don't even believe in the Bible, you could watch that and be entertained.
The story's solid
good.
too.
Yeah.
If you're looking at it that route, it's a solid story. It's honestly just overall good. You got your classic, what's it called? I don't want to say not hero's journey, but a guy realizes what he's doing is wrong and flips around and becomes the good guy. Redemption. It's like a redemption story in a way.
Yeah.
So, banger story, banger animation, phenomenal animation. If you're a weeb, you should watch it. That's all I'll say. Yeah. Moving into anime, that was our anime adjacent talk. We got a show. What we talk about here is anime. We got a beautiful show called Record of Lodoss War that we're going to be talking about. the 13 episode thing. What is this man doing?
I was just counting off all the things you were saying. You're
Okay.
like, we got a show.
I was
playing
like, he's
Fortnite.
like freaking like getting mad at me. What am I
it's
doing wrong? I'm like, am I okay?
What are you
Like,
doing?
what am I doing wrong? Yeah, we're talking about Record of Lodoss War, near the halfway point of the show. It was an anime, and we'll get to it.
Wait, what, was it an anime or a slideshow? I forgot. I just
Well, it's not near as bad as what I watched.
true,
Yeah.
very true.
It looks good, like phenomenal compared to what I watched.
Yeah. It's old.
Yeah,
We'll say
it's
that
definitely
much.
old.
Yeah.
Definitely old. So we'll be talking about that, and it's specifically like the OVA-esque thing. The
Yeah.
13 episodes, not the 24, 26, or whatever it is episode thingy that came out later, but we'll be talking about that, spoiling and everything. We got a little bit of news, and of course we got a little bit of seasonal talk. So let's dive right into the news. I literally only have 2 things because this week was pretty short on news. And the 2 things were anime announcements. First up, the everyday life of a 29-year-old middling adventurer.
I could get behind that.
That
Yeah.
sounds like a light novel.
That's our age. I could watch that and feel right. Hopefully.
I'm nervous about the picture I saw,
Ugh.
but maybe not that nervous. I think it's more wholesome.
Is
than
it
I
like a
to be.
10,000-year-old elf mage?
Or no, it just straight up look like a little kid.
Oh,
I don't even think they're trying to hide it. I think it was just like
Yikes.
maybe it's his daughter. I don't freaking know.
Okay.
That'd be more
That's
wholesome.
why I say I'm like in the middle, like I could teeters. You are wrong, by the way, Thane. It's not a light novel.
manga.
It is a manga, indeed.
Damn.
Apologize, Thane. You'll get him next time. Try it with this one.
Is it fantasy though?
This one? Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely, definitely fantasy. Next up, it's got adventure. Come on, Thane.
Well, fantasy can get away with more sus things. No, it can't. No, it can't.
Yeah. Next up, in the clear moonlit dusk.
It sounds pretty hardcore.
I'm going to say manga.
It sounds like a manga.
Both right. It is indeed a manga. I don't know much about it. I know it's a more recent manga. Started publishing, I think, 2020. So fairly new. I don't know anything about it though. The animation style looked interesting. The art style of the manga looks interesting. So who's to say? Honestly, that's all I have for news though. Not a lot of things happened this week. We're kind of in that lull period of the season where nothing happens anime adjacent. News wise.
We could and talk about how everyone's losing their mind over Last of Us. I think it's freaking hilarious, dude, that people are it's just a meltdown on the internet right now.
It's very funny. I want to say that if we are going to talk about Last of Us, I don't think Belly Ramsey's really the problem.
I saw the clip that people were freaking out about, and I gotta say, it's like, yeah, the video game did it better. The video game was more reasonable.
The clip's incredibly cringe, no
Yeah.
doubt about it. I think the writing's a little rough this season, and I think the direction is a little rough this season.
If they just copied the game 1-for-1, I think it could have worked.
Yeah.
But what I saw, it's like, well, it's spoilers. I'm gonna say spoilers. So spoilers for what
Last of Us Season 2.
Yeah, the season 2, whatever last episode. I think the one before
4?
this.
Episode
Yeah,
4.
4. So in the video game, also spoilers for the video game because, well, they're adjacent. A video game, Ellie's on this journey for revenge. She's with her girlfriend named Dina, and she finds out she's pregnant. In the video game, Ellie's like, oh, what the hell? This is going to ruin everything. And she also makes like a corny joke. It's like, oh, don't worry, it's not yours. It's like, funny joke. I think
Good joke. I think it's a good joke.
It worked.
It's funny.
It's intentionally not funny because she's like trying to lighten the mood, but Ellie's like, "Argh." But then in the show, it's like she's like, I'm pregnant, and then Ellie is just like neuron activated, starts making out, and they start doing the stuff. It's like that's not that is totally a normal human reaction when you're in danger. All your through the
Neuron
whole
activated is
throughout
so crazy.
throughout the whole journey, and then you're like, I'm gonna do a pregnant girl or something. Like it's like what?
Yeah, it's a little rough at times. It's incredibly funny to watch it, and incredibly funny to watch people freak out about it. I have one final thought, and I saw this on Reddit. It's somebody pointed out that if the hairdressers or the art directors, if you will, I don't know what they call that in freaking
Costume
design. Thank you. If costume design, instead of just making Bella Ramsey's hair like this, They should have just actually made it like the video game had it in front and cover her, like have actual bangs.
She's got a weird round face.
And
like
so if they did that, then she would have looked a lot better for the role. And I was just like, huh, yeah, I can see it. Yeah. But once again, I don't really care.
I've only
it's just
seen
kind of
that,
funny at this point.
I've only seen that clip, and I know probably people were probably mad, but it's like seeing that clip with not much context, but having played the game, I'm like, that's a downgrade. And I don't really, controversial opinion, I don't really like the plot of Last of Us 2.
I don't know if that's controversial.
Yeah, not really. But it's just how it goes, like how it plays out. But like even for like how the show plays, it's like that's even that somehow they downgraded it. It's like, how do you do that?
I think I've just decided that people hate The Last of Us and they just like Joel.
Yeah,
that's all.
They just like the first one. Try to forget the second one.
See, and then like they hate the game Last of Us 2, and then they think the show's even worse. I'm just enjoying all of it. I think it's funny, cringe, and all.
Yeah,
I'm there for it, dude.
And like, you may not think that this little conversation we had is relevant, but trust us, in 5 years, when The Last of Us gets the anime adaptation, we know what's going to happen. It'll be a relevant conversation. Yeah. So look forward to that.
Or maybe not. I think after the show, Sony might just bury The Last of Us in the backyard.
I got a question for you guys. This is just a side topic, piggybacking off of this one, because I've thought about this a lot, especially since a lot of things that I love have gotten adaptations or redos or more parts of something done over. And I think I'm undecided on whether I want them to just copy like the source material one for one or do an adaptation and introduce new stuff. With Halo, for example.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I would love to see that story done like live action and really good, but also I've already seen it. I kind of want to try something. What else do we got, you know?
I've got my answer. Like, literally, as you were speaking, I was like, what do I think about this? And then, like, it hit me. I was like, boom, perfect answer. And it's specifically, I want them to be, like, pretty faithful to it if the old version is, like, significantly old. And it's, like, hard to stomach at times because of how old it is. Maybe not hard to stomach. That's kind of a descriptive word. I mean more so, like... it's just old, and an update, a fresh coat of paint and everything would make it stellar. But if it's fairly recent and they want to revisit, I think they do a new adaptation completely. Like The Last of Us, for example. That's obviously what we're talking about. Last of Us 1, or Season 1, was pretty faithful to the games, and I was happy with the little deviations they took because it was still pretty recent. And like, you could go play the PlayStation 3 version of it, and it'd still look good and play just as good as the remade version of it or whatever.
Right.
Something like Halo, for example, if they wanted to fully remake Halo 1, same story and everything, but it plays like Halo Infinite, let's do it. I'm for it. That thing could use a coat of paint. Even Combat Evolved's like 10 years old at this point, and that didn't play super great. I mean, it played fine because it's still Halo 1, but
wait,
could be better.
The remake?
Yeah.
So I didn't clarify.
Combat Evolved remake's 10 years old.
Oh, aren't we like going 25 years? Oh, no.
I guess I was specifically asking about like adaptations from like game to cinema or something like that.
Oh, not just remakes?
But no, I like the idea too. I think I agree with you heavily. I think if it's like doing a reboot of something.
Like the Halo TV show should have just been a retelling of Halo 1, in my opinion. I think I would have preferred that.
Well, and I think I would too after watching it. But I've also, like I said, just sat on the topic itself of like, do I want something that I already have that I know is great and done again, or do I want something new and see what they can do with it?
Yeah, and that's what I mean by Halo 1. If they did Halo Infinite story as the TV show, I would not want that unless they did a completely different version of it.
I see.
Because we literally had that like 3 years ago.
So the closer we are to something, you want just something new
interpretation. Yeah. And don't get me wrong, I love new interpretations of things that I enjoy. But sometimes it is fun to just get a nice fresh coat of paint. Like when Wind Waker HD, for example, came out, I was like, fresh coat of paint feels good. I'm happy about that. But then you get adaptations of other things, and it's like, yeah, I love this thing so freaking much. I'm ready to see it in a new thing. Like it's like when you get your manga you're reading since chapter 1, it gets an anime adaptation, and you're just like, freak yeah, dude, let's go. I'm so pumped for this. And they do change a little bit here and there. It's very subtle. Maybe sometimes a lot of it is like them trying to make lore things make more sense, like a little slightly retconning previous things to make it more sense later on.
Right.
Things like that. And so that's kind of that fresh coat of paint that I was kind of I don't know. I'm all over the place in this conversation, as you can tell, but you get what I mean.
My best example of what I want, or at least what I really, really like, is I think that the Resident Evil 4 remake, it was fan-freaking-tastic because it was a lot of what they already had, very familiar, but they also changed up parts of the game too that I'm just like, dude, this is great. Like it's new content, but it's in a familiar setting, and I loved it. And I don't know if that's even doable going from like a video game to a movie or TV show. I mean, obviously it is. It just depends on the writing. But even like you already mentioned with The Last of Us, season 1 specifically, I liked a lot of the changes that they made. It weren't even changes. It was like just different interpretations, like you said.
And I guess to loop back to anime, a great example would be Cyberpunk to Cyberpunk Edge Runners.
Yeah.
Clearly, it's just something set within the world of Cyberpunk. A completely separate story, and it's just an adaptation. It's technically still an adaptation, I would say, and it's adapting the world of Cyberpunk into animation, and I think it did it phenomenally. I think it was superb, very, very well done.
Yeah, I agree.
And it feels like Cyberpunk. Like if you play the games, like it feels like you're playing. Well, it isn't like you're playing it, but it still feels like the world. Yeah, the world that you played in, that feels like the world you see in the anime. So yeah, that's my thoughts.
I really like that though. I think I might start using that as my baseline, or at least trying to build my thoughts around how I feel about the whole remake, remaster, reboot stuff.
Yeah.
I think you nailed it, dude. The closer you are to something, the better it would be to just deviate and kind of tell your own thing.
Because if they just did an anime adaptation of Cyberpunk, I don't think I would have cared as much. But because they did something different within the same world and expanded the world a little bit more and built upon it, like, cool. I'm all for it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
10 years from now, I'll take a Cyberpunk anime that just tells you the story of V. Let's do it.
I think I went with the based off the tabletop games, like all the backstory, because there's huge backstory. I'd like to see an adaptation of that.
Yeah, sure.
Like Johnny Silverhand's full story, how he like came to, like, I think he was started as a corpo, and then he kind of went to the underground to rebel. That kind of stuff. I'd like to see that adapted.
Delving into that tabletop stuff, you'd have like literally limitless content to pull from if you were doing that kind of stuff.
Also, about remakes, I know a lot of people are like having problems, like too many remakes. There are a lot. We're kind of getting oversaturated a bit. But I think as long as the original can be accessed, like for instance, Silent Hill 2 remake. People were surprised by that game, but the original is not really accessible right now, like in legal means.
Well, that plus it's so freaking old that I welcome that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
They're literally going from PS1 to lifelike, you know.
Yeah,
I freaking love it.
PS2, geez, don't.
Was it PS2?
Yes, it's PS2.
Still looks like a PS1.
But I think
it's a joke.
I think we should have options. Like we could play the remake, also could play the original.
Yeah, I agree. I think the options should still be available. Mm-hmm. And like recently we were seeing that with anime.
But I would also love more original content.
Yeah. We're seeing that with more animes. They're getting anime remakes essentially. Like Urusei Yatsura is the one that I always go to because that's the one I enjoyed the most. I really wanted to watch OG Urusei Yatsura or even read the manga, but it's so old that I have a hard time with the art style. I'm a freak. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. It's just how I am. I don't love that kind of an art style.
Weird.
And same with the manga. It's just old and frankly it's outdated. But this remake of Urusei Yatsura, it's literally the same stories, but it looks phenomenal. It looks so good. Apparently the word of this episode from me anyway is phenomenal. I've been saying that a billion times, but yeah, I love that remake.
Secret of the day.
What was the one we watched last season that I really liked? The guy girl
Ranma 1/2.
Yeah, Ranma 1/2.
Same writer and everything, so same art style from back then. The anime from back then is similar to Urusei Yatsura.
The other one I can think of is the Fruits Basket. I never watched the original, but Cole, you were the one that turned me on to the remaster, remake.
The remake is
also
more
awesome.
faithful to the manga, so.
And sometimes that happens. And hey, what did we just talk about? How sometimes adaptations of something that's coming out pretty quickly, they do change it up a little bit. Then later down the road, we can remake the original and
Yeah.
Then you get
It's
Brotherhood.
also another thing.
get Brotherhood.
That's another thing I'm gonna bring up in the show later, but we'll get into that.
I'm excited to hear what your guys' thoughts
Yeah.
about that show.
Okay.
But before we do that, let's talk about some seasonal stuff. I think it's about that time. Thane, would you like to indulge us in one of your shows that you're watching?
What
Kinda
am
on
I
the spot.
watching?
We have a lot to watch tonight, by the way.
Watching
Yeah.
Kowloon generic romance. Did I say that last week?
I mean, you guys briefly brought it up, but you didn't really talk too much about it,
Okay,
other than like
so-
the premise.
That show's not what I expected at all. from
Yeah.
it. It's freaking good. Sorry.
Yeah.
You have the floor now.
So get this. So you think from what the name, first off, Kowloon was a city in Hong Kong that was pretty much like a giant like cube kind of. They called it Kowloon Walled City, and it was like in Kowloon, the area of Kowloon. And what if you have to look up to get a better picture. What was pretty much was like just like a condensed city, like tightly condensed. You look at pictures, they're like hallways. Their streets are pretty much hallways in the city. It was a weird infrastructure, but it's like obviously it was also I think a safety hazard. So when I think Britain finally unoccupied Hong Kong, kind of had to be its own free state. They demolished the whole thing and put a park on it. This show is set in Kowloon, but not really. You have to keep watching to understand that part. You think it's a romance set in Kowloon, this old, long gone city, but it actually turns out to be a sci-fi mystery.
Well, they're always alluding to it or like foreshadowing because they show that data, whatever
Yeah.
that thing is.
The
here.
diamond-looking
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
And it's always like, hey, here's this cute romance. Look at that thing. Here's this
Yeah.
cute. Look back and see it's
Yeah.
still there. Here's this cute romance. So like
It's-
the entire from the very first shot of when they showed that thing, I was
Yeah.
like, what a Fortnite.
Yeah, you know like something's up with that, and then the first episode kind of like hits you with an image. You're like, what is this? This is not what I thought it was gonna be. And then it's a crazy. It's like slowly unpacks a mystery, and it keeps you engaged every episode. I'm very much enjoying this show.
That is one that I do plan to try to watch, but I feel like it's one I need to be in the mood to try to watch it, so I have not started it yet.
I would probably just binge
well-
it when it gets done. Like
Yeah.
one of your just binge it at the end
Got
of the
it.
season things you do.
Also, maybe get you watching a main girl is
She's a dime.
yeah.
I may have to jump on then.
She
And they're
a
adults.
baddie.
Oh
They're
yes,
adults.
oh, thank
They're 30s,
goodness.
in their 30s.
That helps a lot. One kind of opposite of that that I'm watching and I'm really enjoying is can a boy-girlfriend relationship survive? Can a boy-girl relationship survive? Friendship survive? Whatever, doesn't matter. I went into this not expecting much. I expected it to be trash rom-com, and like to an extent it is, but every now and then a trash rom-com will provide us with a new concept, a new shtick. What is that? Your thing that you have that's special. Your what's the freaking word?
Your not your niche, your
gimmick.
gimmick. Yeah, there you go.
They'll have some unique gimmick that makes them special and unique. And for the most part, that wears off pretty quickly. And it doesn't necessarily here in this show, but it kind of does in ways unexpected. Whereas in the gimmick of where it does just wear off, gimmicks just wear off, it's just like for example, last season, when we watched I'm Married to the Girl I Hate in Class, the gimmick of them being married kind of fell off after like 4 episodes, and it just became your trash. We introduced a million girls, and that's like, they're not, like, who cares if they're living together anymore?
Right.
It doesn't even matter anymore. Whereas a good gimmick lasts the whole time and kind of like sustains the whole unique romance show part of it. And so this one obviously is there's a boy and a girl, and they're best friends. That's their whole shtick. They're best friends. They're not ever going to fall for each other because they're best friends. They can't. They're good friends. And, like, I'm 6 episodes in, and it feels like they've gotten past that we're best friends, but they still treat each other like they're still best friends, and they still want to be just each other's best friend. And so that's still going to permeate throughout, but it's like changed in a different way that I didn't really expect. I expected them to either try to keep it the entire time and do the will they won't they the entire time, or straight up just drop the whole we're best friend things, like almost episode 1 or 2.
Mm-hmm.
And lo and behold, we're not. We're still here with that same kind of premise, and it's still, like I said, there's underlying persistence of that, and it's kind of unique. In a weird way, that's what's keeping them from getting together, is because they are best friends. It's really cool. I'm a big fan of it. Dissecting the plot aside, the characters are a lot of fun. Main boy is really, really fun. He's a really good dude. Main girl is a blue hair girl. And so, like, I'm undecided if she's going to lose or not. She's the best friend. She's got blue hair, and blue hair girls typically lose, as we know in anime. So, who knows? We'll see. But they have this really funny dynamic. It's always just the funniest thing in the world. Like, she'll, like, give him this smirker thing, and he just, like, talks in his head. Like, she's probably saying something along the lines like, oh, I'm the cutest little thing in the world. And it's, I don't know. Every time it makes me laugh the way it's very, very good. Comedy's on point. That's what I got to say about that. You have not watched it yet? I've told you about it a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, uh-huh.
Now this is like a formal, like, yeah, I think you would enjoy this one. Give it a shot. Tell me what you think after it.
Yeah.
Watch episode 1 or 2 or at least.
Yeah, I may start that one soon. Or I might wait and just binge it all. Maybe I'll do episode 1.
I think if you binge it, you might get burnt out.
You think?
I think there's too much. It's fun in a weekly thing, but I think all in one go might be too much.
Well, the one I wanted to talk about today is called Lazarus. It is, correct me if I'm wrong, Thane, but is it from the same art director as Cowboy Bebop?
Yeah.
Same director?
Yeah. Pretty much co-creator.
Oh, well, it's like, it looks like Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah.
It's freaking awesome. It's got the jazz. It's got like jazz and stuff.
Yeah.
The art style and animation's phenomenal.
It's also got they say in the credits, action supervision by Chad Stileski, the guy who directs the John Wick movies.
I believe it, dude. Like,
Yeah.
it's a full on, like, first episode, dude breaks out of prison because he just does that apparently a bunch of times.
He's broken out several times.
Yeah, and then he joins this gang that goes after bad guys.
Isn't this Mappa?
No, this is, I think it's Sola. Yeah, it's a newer. I think they're newer guys.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought Mappa was doing something.
No. Maybe.
I'll look it up.
Mappa's doing. They were on To Be Hero X.
I think they just did like a small thing for that, though. I don't think they did
Probably
like a full thing.
No, you're right. I don't think they did. I think they just probably had other team members on or something. But anyway, Lazarus is fun, dude. Every time I watch it, I'm just loving it. The animation's sick. Fight scenes are cool. The choreography's awesome. There's a lot of parkour and running and jumping up and down buildings and in and out of buildings. And it's a visual spectacle. Very fun. Good eye candy.
Produced by Mappa and Sola Entertainment.
It's like a
You were
joint
right.
venture.
We were both right.
Yeah.
Who knows how much Mappa's actually doing?
Yeah,
You
they
think
do
Mappa ever thinks they do too much?
Oh yeah,
They should.
but hey, at least we're getting Jujutsu Kaisen. Sometime I think this sometime.
I did watch episode
And-
1 of this Lazarus show, and the premise is incredibly jumps out to me. I don't know if any of the characters jumped out to me, though. I didn't really care about any of them, and so I've yet to watch past episode 1 as a result. I plan on getting back just because, like I said, the premise was unique and interesting.
Seems like a fun binge watch.
Yeah, it probably would be.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you have anything else left?
No, that's
Oh,
fun.
yeah, I watched all Moonrise.
Oh, you finished
Yeah,
it?
It's very mid.
Oh, gosh. Sorry,
Womp,
Red Studio.
Womp womp.
Yeah.
I may not watch that one then. That was on my list to watch, but I don't know.
It also feels very rushed at points because I guess they didn't have enough episodes. So, animation's incredible though. It's very Hollywood-esque.
Yeah, what doesn't miss with their
Yeah.
animation, that's for sure.
It's probably the best part of the show.
What
but
did they did some a couple years ago that was
Attack on Titan.
Yeah. Who did Chainsaw Man?
Mappa.
Oh, that was Mappa.
Yeah, and
But
then,
Attack on Titan did,
and
or
then-
Mappa did season 4. of
Was it
Attack on
Trigger
Titan.
that did Cyberpunk?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
And they're also doing Panty and Stocking coming, I think, next season.
That's quite the title.
Yeah.
Is that the remake or is it like a sequel? Okay.
Full on sequel.
It's an old one.
Yeah. 2006. I think it was before, I think it was after Gurren Lagann. Same guy.
Oh, what's the... Who does Demon Slayer?
That's
Ufotable.
Yeah.
Ufotable. What have they done recently? Demon Slayer? Or are they just like
Just
married?
Demon Slayer. I
Just
think
Demon
they're
Slayer
just
right
doing
now.
Demon-
They used to do a lot of Fate Stay Night stuff, and
3 years ago, they announced that they were doing a Genshin Impact anime.
Oh,
And
yeah,
we have
yeah,
not seen
that
anything
one.
since
I
the
think I
announcement.
remember you saying that.
I think I said it on the podcast. I'm pretty sure that's how long it's been.
We've been doing
Also
this
the-
3 years?
We started 3 years ago, yeah. It was one of the first episodes I think we said something about it on.
Freaking A, dude.
also the first movie in the trilogy is coming out soon.
Yeah,
Next
like
season,
Demon Slayer is, I mean, Ufotable's only been doing Demon Slayer really.
So are they doing
Yeah.
just 3 movies and that's it?
I
Yeah.
believe so.
I think it's smart.
I think the pacing of the movies are going to be weird.
I felt like the pacing of the manga was weird.
Sure, but like split that arc into 3 and make a climax for all 3? Like, yikers, dude.
They might have to
Do some like timeline shenanigans where the end of movie 1 is also the same ending time as like movie 2, but movie 1 and 2 are like the events that happen are being done in tandem or something like that. I think that's the only way they could really do it. It's been
Yeah.
so long since I've read the manga, but that's what I think was how they would have to do it. Yeah. There's a lot of good studios out there. They're just kind of tied up in too many projects or focus on only one, basically.
Yeah.
I guess without further ado, let's talk about it. Let's talk about the Record of Lodoss War. Now, Thane, you're the one who
Yeah.
selected us to watch this show. So the floor is yours. We're going spoiler mode for
Yeah.
the 13 episodes of Record of Lodoss War. Go for it.
So it's your classic fantasy show about this continent called Lodoss, and it's known as the Accursed Land, and there's this war going on. I see it in the title, and
And every intro they let you. They remind you.
let you know. They remind you. And this young boy named Parn is just an average villager, and then his village is attacked by evil
Goblinos.
backed by like what are they called, kobolds and
Kobolds, yeah.
hobgoblins or whatever. And at the beginning, throughout this whole show, he sucks for most of the show.
Yeah.
He's not very good.
That was episode 2, by the
Yeah.
way. Thane skipped over episode 1.
Well, episode 1, I don't know if it's even canon. It's just weird.
It's like a sizzle reel.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's definitely canon because they referenced fighting a dragon at one point, and that's when they fought it.
I don't remember the reference, but yeah, that was like a weird.
It was a one-off
Yeah.
comment.
Yeah.
Watching that first episode, I was like, you put it best. You're just like, yeah, I guess that's just an episode to show you what's coming.
Yeah.
or
Like,
what
this
you
is-
might see in the show.
Yeah, exactly.
But Barn is actually useful. It's very his character is very inconsistent, but I'll get to that later. Yeah, so he starts off the adventure by burning down his house. I guess he's never coming back there.
What a
guy.
gamer, dude.
Yeah.
What a guy. He's committed to the bit.
He is.
So then he goes on this journey to be a hero, except he doesn't really save the day. It's that cool guy Ashura that kind of kills the evil wizard at the end, and also it's his dwarf friend, not Gimli. It's Gim, who throws the axe to hit the evil wizards. So he doesn't really save the day more than he's just kind of there. You think he's going to save the day, but then
There were several times where I
characters.
was like, Parn really doesn't save the day. There was one part where they're in the forest and Deedlift is...
he's just
like,
there to take the credit.
She's tied up against a tree, and there's like bandits or something that had tied her up. Maybe it was the wizard guy, I can't remember. And then the red hair girl's like, "You go save her, and we'll fight him." But then the red hair girl actually is the one that goes and cuts her free and then puts her down. I was like, "What the frick did Parn even do then?"
Yeah.
I'll tell you what he did. He gathered the gamers to save the day. He didn't
Yeah.
save it. He gathered the fellowship, and then they ringed it up.
He's
Yeah.
just he is the business manager.
Yes,
Yeah. What are you doing, Parn? You're supposed to supposed to be the hero guy. Like, you're supposed to kind of suck at the beginning, but then level up. Isn't this an RPG? This is what this was based off. It's based off a pen and paper RPG.
It is. Okay,
Yeah.
I was about to say, this screams to me the most generic RPG that you find in an NES game or like old school tabletop. So it makes perfect sense is what it was.
In fact, the author, Ryo Mizuno, is actually solely responsible for popularizing this kind of high fantasy RPG like game mechanics in Japan, like tabletop. Like, he made a popular one in Japan that has yet to be localized in America called Sword World RPG. It's very popular in Japan, but like a lot of his stuff, it's not localized. So, but they have localized it. Fans have, so you can easily get a fan translation. But yeah, this is it's very classic high fantasy. Like, this is actually one of the first high fantasies, like one that made it really popular, like stuff like Frieren, Mushoku Tensei, even Full Metal Alchemist. It owes a lot to this show.
Well, I wonder if it was just an introduction to lots of people, because this was in the 90s, but
Yeah.
just to me, this just screamed after episode 1. I was like, oh, this is like just D&D. You have the
Yeah.
warrior, you got the
Oh
classic.
yeah, they literally built their squad.
The mage, the dwarf, the cleric, all of it, the elf girl with tits.
Yeah.
It just screamed D&D to me,
Yeah.
and I don't know if I wrote it in my notes or not, but that's what I had assumed this was probably really popular back in the day, and
Yeah.
people liked it, and it was like their first
even
introduction to
in
this
like
kind of
America,
stuff.
they obviously could tell if you watch the dub. It's classic 90s dub where it's like, oh,
It's good.
I loved it.
It's funny. I enjoyed the dub.
yeah, it's one of those classic cheesy dubs. Like, if it was a today dub, you'd like, I want to just switch the subtitle. But since it's a 90s dub, I'm like, that's a funny delivery. It's like,
I like how it gets some of the background actors that are actually trying and giving their all, and then like they're immediately followed up by the dude that just phoned it in.
yeah.
He's like, "No, the kingdom." Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah.
I think the dwarf Gim had some of the best one-liners in the whole show, especially in the beginning, because he was just a dick to Parn.
Yeah.
He hated that guy. What did he said something like, you couldn't hit what did he say? It's like, I think it's episode 2.
He's like, "You
episode
suck
2 or
with a
3.
sword." I don't know what
Yeah.
it was, but I know exactly.
It's
what
like,
you're
you
talking
couldn't
about.
hit something broadside of a barn.
And he kept looping that in his
Yeah.
head, and like over and over. Parn just thought about that over
Yeah.
and over. It didn't get better. He just thought about it.
Yeah.
Thought about how much he sucked.
Well, there was one part, I think episode 6, that was probably, I think, the best episode out of the batch, because it's that whole war, and Parn's out there actually killing dudes.
Yeah.
He's actually like, wow, he's actually useful. He's in the war.
That's post Parn like getting strong though.
Yeah.
Like training. He
Yeah.
trained with the king dude.
Yeah. And I guess he does get better, but like the final battle, like Ashura mostly carried the weight for that battle, and he just kind of destroyed the barrier.
That final battle really sucked.
Yeah. I wonder if it's done better in the the sequel, the follow-up actually remakes the last like 5 episodes and actually is more faithful to the novel. So I wonder if it's better, but I haven't watched it. But yeah, an adaptation, I looked it up. What I found out is that Volume 1 is the first 8 episodes, and then they skip over Volume 2 and then loosely like adapt 3 and 4 and then stop before they go to 5. And then apparently Chronicles of the Heroic Knight skips over 5. So that's why we talked about remakes earlier. I think this show is primed for a remake.
Yeah, I could
Do
get one.
all the novels and maybe make Parn more consistent. I think the problem is he's inconsistent. Some like at first he's pretty weak. That makes sense. He's starting out, and then he gets stronger, and then he kind of fumbles till the end, and it's like, you're a knight. It's like he kind of feels like it's not earned.
Yeah.
But I think with the remake, I think they could fix a lot of that up. Add the stuff that they didn't adapt, and just because apparently novels 7 and 8, which are the last 2, do not follow Parn. It follows a different character. So you can remake 1 through 5 as a new anime and then 6 and 7 get there.
My biggest problem with the writing as a whole is the lack of motivation at the beginning. Like, what is it? Like, oh, the people in the village hate me because they think my dad's a loser. Better burn down my house and leave.
Yeah.
Like, what kind of motivation? Like, he literally saved his village, and they're still just like, Parn, you blow. Guess I'm gone. Burn down my house.
Lights his Molotov.
Yeah. And so, like, there's, like, zero motivation for him to even, like, act the way he's acting other than, like, he appreciated his dad and he wanted to be like his dad. And, like, I'm not saying that's bad motivation. That's motivation for a real person in real life, not for a freaking TV person.
Hot elf girl.
Make my TV... Well, that's another conversation. We'll get there. Don't you worry. That's like my TV person needs to have the freaking really deep motivation, you know? I don't want to look at a real life person on the TV.
I want to relate, not identical.
Yeah. And so that's my biggest issue. There's just like, I'm like 3 or 4 episodes in, I'm just like, why the Fortnite is Parn doing all this stuff? Like, he's just doing it just cuz at this point. He's just there. Like, he just stumbled into saving this princess, and now he's at this big party. He just literally got lucky for no freaking reason. He just happened to be at the right place.
He got the D20, bro.
He literally got a nat D20.
He min-maxed on luck.
Speaking of rolling the nat 20, let's talk about that final fight and how garbage it actually was. Like, I literally was just like, okay, we're finally going to see Parn do something. Like, he's literally sat on his sword the entire time. Come on, do something for us. Make it, like, worthwhile. Make this journey worthwhile. You know what he does? He trips, and the freaking zombie grabs the enemy and saves the day. The zombie rolled the D20, the nat 20, and freaking saved the day. And then Parn didn't do anything other than stab the freaking sphere with the swords.
Yeah.
Oh, that pissed me off so much. It didn't feel good at all. I'm like, Parn literally did nothing the entire time. Anybody could stab that. I could have stabbed that. Weakling little Cole could stab the freaking thing.
Yeah.
Gosh. Honestly, though, not bad. Like, it wasn't the worst thing we've seen. Like, sure, the story's, like, meh. But, like, animation-wise, like, honestly, killer. Like, the art is incredible at times.
I think the art's what pulled me through it, because there's some animation that's really good, and then there's other scenes where, like, one of the ones that got me was the dragons flying. It's just like somebody drew a dragon on the paper, and they're just sliding the paper across the screen. So,
I mean, dragons are kind of hard to animate. They're
right,
big.
well, and this is
they have flapping wings.
I just every time I saw something, I just said this was 1990. I just kept throwing that out.
But the dragon fight at the end,
that's
hardcore. It's like, yo.
The funniest part though is, like, I saw that dragon slide thing, and I was just all like, well, at least the picture looks better than beginning after the end.
Right, and that's what I kept saying too. Is I'm like, I like the art. The animation is. I could have done that. I could have done that in GIMP or Blender.
Yeah. As long as
in
you
my
can fool people,
video editor.
As long as you fool people in the moment, I think you can pass.
Well, there's another at the very end of the movie. I don't know if you guys watched the final credits roll, but Parn and the elf girl are riding on a horse, and it looks really good. And then once again, dragon on the paper sliding through.
Here comes the dragon.
The animation in the intro where they're also on the horse and they're riding, and you see the dragon land on top of that castle. I'm like, where'd they get all the frames for this?
Yeah.
Holy cow.
I think my problem with this show is we have Mushoku Tensei, we have Free Ren, and they're better.
It's just modern, right?
Yeah, it's just modern.
Which is why I think if you remake this show's still talked about.
Yeah.
People still like the show. There was a game in 2019 called Dietly and Wonder Labyrinth. That's right. They made a game about Dietly because everyone likes Dietly.
No, she sucks too. Honestly, she's got like one redeeming moment that I think is
fans
funny.
like Dietly.
Boobs.
Fair.
Yeah.
Boobs, Ozzy.
You want to know why she sucks? It's not because of really anything. It's literally just because of the beginning. She's like, I'm literally so much better than you, Parn. I'm like she doesn't say it out loud, but like it's clear, like she's literally the GOAT. And like then Parn like stumbles once. She just goes, "Ooh, I want that piece of meat right there,
Yeah.
Ooh, baby."
It's inconsistent.
I'm just like, why do you want him? He literally just does nothing.
I think the worst part about his character is just inconsistencies.
If he was a little cooler, then I could see.
I have a feeling that's
him.
probably just, I don't know if it's the novel. I haven't read the novel. I'm interested, but I think if there are these inconsistencies, then that's just on the writer's fault. But it might be the show too. But who knows? But I think the remake could also buff out these inconsistencies.
I say cooler. I don't think Parn needs to be cooler. I think he's fine how he is. I just think we needed to see better moments between the two to actually have a reason why Deeply would start liking him. Because there was nothing. All of a sudden, we're at this party, and she's like, why don't you dance with me, effer? Look at me. I'm freaking hot stuff right here. And he's like, I really like that man right there. I really like that man. I'm going to stare at that man the whole time. I'm going to go bump into that man while we're dancing so I can stare at him some more. I don't know. I don't know why I liked that king so much. He was really into that dude.
He wanted to bone him.
Kind of did.
then later at one point the flip switch is like, no, actually I like girls.
Yeah, he kind of did flip the switch. Another funny thing is the king that Parn was into. He didn't really he had this moment where we thought he was gonna be become a bad guy and betray everybody. He never did.
Yeah. Instead, he said he fought the other king, and then they both stab each other.
No, not that king.
Oh,
the king,
King
the
Cashew?
King of Sands. Yeah, Cashew.
Yeah.
He has that moment as before they get to the party. He has that moment with the evil lady, and he's like, "I'll think about your offer." And it comes up again. I'm still thinking about your offer, and he never does anything about it. He was like, "Yeah, whatever. I'm not gonna do it."
Instead, I think he takes the throne.
He does take the throne. Yeah, they should have been some kind of payoff for that. They built up small things and never did any payoffs.
Yeah.
Like I said, I don't really care because the story wasn't what I was there for.
The payoff was supposed to happen in
some of the stuff that we missed that we never adapted.
Yeah,
I'd believe it.
But I always keep saying I want a remake. Just give me a remake, please.
Yeah.
This is such a cool idea. It's such a cool world. I think we just need a more up-to-date show to really flesh it out.
I think the final thing that I'd like to talk about, for me anyway, I don't know what you guys got, but and this honestly fits pretty well into our previous discussion about how I was saying when things get old enough that I would like a remake, kind of what Thane's talking about. Man, I don't know if I really want that overall, though. I want stories, and I crave things that stand the test of time that never feel old.
Yeah.
The best example I have is on an anime. It's a movie, The Graduate. That movie is made in the 60s. Could have been made yesterday. You could not tell a difference other than just literally the cars and stuff. But the plot and everything literally feels like something made out of literally yesterday.
I've never seen it. I need to watch that.
You didn't watch it with us?
Mm-mm.
You remember with Dustin Hoffman?
We watched it years ago.
Yeah.
Then I watched it one time and you were still with us and I said, want to watch it? And you said, nah.
And then some people
I don't remember the plot at all.
I don't think you watched it with us. Some of you were there.
The film buffs would be like, I swear to God, if you remake it.
There's literally nothing wrong with that movie.
Yeah.
Even the dialogue
Godfather
feels fairly modern. And it doesn't need to feel modern. It just works. It doesn't feel bad. I don't think that movie will ever age, save for, like I said, the cars or the clothes styles. That's about it. Not much else ages. Maybe the house styles, like shag carpet on the walls and such. Other than that, the story, the premise, the plot, the dialogue, the acting, none of that ages. It literally is perfect. It could have been done yesterday.
It feels like what college students go through today.
And so I think there are some things that do that, even in anime, especially in anime.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of those types of anime we're getting them now. I think things like Free Ren will become something like that, where it will always look good. It'll always stand up to the time just because it's a fairly generic plot with good acting and good screen composition and stuff. And, I think it's the same reason why there's some old mangas that still hold up really, really well that people still jump onto and really enjoy. Just in general, that's what I want. I want more things like that.
Yeah.
And so when I compare it to this, that's why I'm looping back. Record of Lodoss War does not do that for me. It does not age well.
There would have to be a lot of improvement.
And I think that's why Thane's hit the nail on the head. I think it could be a good remake. I think it has a good potential. They could use that interesting lore that they set up and the interesting world that was built and make a fun story with it.
And I think a modern day equivalent to this would be a show called Record of Grand Crest War. This one's longer. It's 26 episodes, but it adapts it. But it's from the same author. See from the title. I don't think it's in the same world, but it's just Lodoss War, but more modern, and people seem to like it. Are pretty okay with it. And I think stuff like this still can work today. Like the generic stuff, if you like do it right, be pretty faithful, but also a little more modern in some senses. I think, it could work. But one of my favorite parts of the show was when Farn, the king. Yeah, it's kind of weird. His name's Farn, and then the red-haired guy king. I can't remember his name. They're fighting. They stab each other, and then the haired guy survives. And then this sorceress lady shoots a rod through his stomach, and he just evaporates. And I was laughing. I was like, what a sucker. It kind of reminds me of in Thunderbolt Fantasy when the guy summons the demon, and then a shard of the sword, wherever sealing, just goes right through him.
Yep.
And I was like,
Just
you reap
dumb
what you
stuff.
sow.
Yeah. Overall, I'd honestly give this show like a 6.
Yeah, I gave it a 6 as well. I think if I watched this in the 90s and I was 10, it'd probably be in 10.
Well, yeah, if you're 10. I think if I'm my age in the 90s, I don't think I'd give it a high. I think it's still a 6 for me.
Yeah, probably same.
Because, you can compare it to other things. Like, Speed Racer looks really good. Even this was we were talking about. Urusei Yatsura, Ranma 1/2. Those all look pretty good for the time. So, I don't know. The stories of those were interesting. Like I said, I love Urusei Yatsura, and the story's the same. So, I don't know. I think it could have been better. This really does feel like Baby's first fantasy RPG. Like, it literally feels like I'm playing your generic RPG on the NES, and that's the plot.
Yeah. I mean, our camera died. Maybe we should end.
Yeah, it overheated.
Yeah.
Well, I think that pretty much does it then. Good show. Not bad. Could have been worse. It is now time for us to choose our next show to watch. And it is Skylar's turn. What do you got for us, Skylar?
I'm going to have to spell this out for you after I butcher the name. Inuyashiki Last Hero. Inuyashiki. Last Hero.
Shoot, is that the one with the robot?
This guy, you can't get anything by him. He's a soccer goalie, and no one ever scores on him.
Inuyashiki?
I think it's from the writer of Gantz.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, it was a shorter manga, so now it's a shorter anime.
Yeah, 11 episodes.
Yeah.
So it's got 7s, 7.5s, and some 8s across the board. So hopefully it doesn't suck.
Yeah. Well, that's what we'll be watching over the next 2 weeks. In the future, I'll probably stop recording in 4K because it's getting too hot for the camera to stay overheated in 4K. So it'll be back to 1080 for a bit here. But anyway, thank you guys for watching and listening to the show. Have a good one. We'll see y'all in 2 weeks.
Bye.
Bye.